Mr. Pop.
Welcome to Andy's Donuts, a podcast about everything, anything, and nothing in between. Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode. In this episode, I've got a special guest. It's my friend Sergio. Hello, Sergio. How are you today?
Hello, Andy. It's my pleasure to hear you again. I'm okay. So thanks for calling me.
That's great. I we haven't chat for a while now, like 15 years now. So I'm glad to catch up a bit with you. How are you doing?
I'm okay. We
That's
haven't
great.
changed so much. I
Uh,
hope. I'm still young.
of course, of course. Right. So tell us a bit about yourself, your background. Maybe for people who don't know you, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm Sergio Arias. I'm from Colombia. I'm married with a daughter, Amalia. I'm working in the financial sector as a banker. I study administrative engineering and also a master in economics and other master in finance in Spain and also in UK when I have the opportunity to meet Andy.
Where are you at this minute? Are you still in Colombia?
No, Andy, right now I'm working in Panama. It's close to Colombia. I'm working in a bank as well. It's called Banistmo. It's a branch of the Grupo Bancolombia, the bank that I used to work in the time that we met. I'm working as a COO with operations, IT, and a lot of stuff that keeps my day very busy. But also, I usually try to combine with reading, doing exercise, and I try to extend my day as much as I can.
That's great. So keep in shape as well, of course. So tell us about your childhood. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in San Javier. It's a neighborhood in Medellin. Just remember that in 19s, in 18s and 19s, Medellin was of the most violent city in the world. So it was a challenge for a children to raise in that time. But I think, and even though I was raised in that kind of neighbor where it's kind of difficult, you can notice or perceive the violence, the values in your family, the advice, the love that my mom, my dad, they always were taking care of me. And I think it was something interesting that even though we have this environment so fierce for growing up, we were happy. I mean, as a children, we play soccer, we were running all the time, we were just playing around and trying to avoid those kind of of things or social environment, as I said. But I believe if I think why I could be different as my friends in that time is the family love, the way that my mother and my father taking care of us, and the love for studying. Of course, just going to school or high school or even university is not the only way of professional achievements, but it was a one way, and my mother and my father just fulfill our thoughts of studying and studying. So I consider myself as a nerd because I love reading, and I think we don't forget about the place we used to live, the friends we used to have, even though some of them unfortunately pass away. But we keep that feeling, we keep that style of life present. Don't forget our past, but we have to move on and to look our future. And one way was through study, and I start loving my studies, my career, and I don't know, probably some kind of luck as well. When someone said, Sergio, you are a lucky guy, perhaps it's something related to lucky, but also you have to be prepared for stay in the perfect moment, for the perfect opportunity, and if that match, it will be something great for you.
Yeah. So what do you think it led you to the life you're having now? So coming from the most dangerous neighborhood in the whole world, becoming a CEO of one of the biggest banks in South America. Do you think it's due to your family or due to your passion for study? Which one do you think was the lucky ticket?
I mean, I just want to mention that even though I know that I have a good position in that moment, I think at the end this is just something that is not forever. Something that I enjoy because I enjoy working and working hard. But at the end, what is worth it is that you are a good person, someone that you can believe in, something that you can trust. That's something that is most important for me. But answering your question, when I try to think in my past, I'm completely sure that there are few friends that they had more opportunities than me. Probably their families more incomes and they can afford other kind of schools. So I think the family environment was one of the most important thing. Learning from your friends, I mean, learning from that kind of violent people, but not get involved is something that is important as well. Just why those kind of people try to reach those things. What are the reasons they move to do that? It's something that make me think about it should be different way of achieving things in life. Probably the bad guys, I don't think it's easy to be a bad guy, but probably you can get money faster and risky for sure. But learning a little bit about them and understand that that's something that I don't want to be part of. And of course, the love for studying, I think it's something that made me change the way that I probably have, my life. And Andy, something in addition to that point, I used to play soccer. I used to play in a team and I was so disciplined. And I used to wake up early. I mean, 4:30 a.m. in the morning every single day. And I went to bed at 12 midnight. So I know that I'm a lucky guy. I know for sure because it's not enough being a good student or working hard. You also have to have this strange, if someone is a religious person, probably with faith, they call that is a gift from God. I don't know, but I know that I'm lucky, but also I work hard and even harder than some of my friends or my colleagues. So I think the love in my family, the love for studying and the discipline and some kind of luck, that kind of combination made me create opportunities. When you think in your life, there are those kind of moments that you have two ways or even three, and you have to choose. And every time I choose one of those paths, I never go back. That was my call, and I will take it. How I make a decision? Of course, gut feelings is important, but also I just write down the drivers of the decision. Let's say 5 or 6 drivers. I assign a number. Let's say it is 50% one, 20% the other one, 30% the other one, and I distribute the 100% in those 6 or 7 drivers, and then I just give a note straight, just the first number that came to my mind. And at the end, I have a final number with the proper weight that the driver has in the decision. So that's the way, the path to be successful. I think those are the main points in my life.
That's very interesting. Is that a financial way of thinking, in numbers? The thing that you're doing there with your method of assigning different percentage to different things and then make a decision based on that. Do you think it's a financial thing or?
No, I think it's related to numbers. Most of the time in my life, I'm thinking in numbers. And probably is not only financial, but also maths. But yes, the gut feelings is the fast that when I assess every single driver, I take my time to assign the percentage, but once I assign it, I just assess fast. And that's the gut feeling as well. So that's the combination I choose. When I started my career, I was working in an insurance company in the actuarial field, and the opportunity in the bank appeared, and I assessed in that way the bank and the insurance company. The bank just win for the difference was too small, and I choose the bank, and I never go back. Probably I will be an actual guy working in an insurance company, but my decision was working in the bank. And with that opportunity, I have traveling in different fields, in different departments in the bank: treasury, operations, IT, investment banking, products, distribution, channels, projects, and now all combined in the CEO position. And I like it. We had a lot of challenge right now as a banker. Not only the competition with the fintech, which with I love the way of thinking, the startups company focus on finance, but also typically a bank is not good at showing the way that we can help to achieve some goals. I mean, we have not been good at express what we do. We usually talk about numbers. We usually talk about net incomes, the assets, growth, liabilities, raised until that point. But we have to talk more about the opportunities that we create. For instance, if my bank didn't borrow money to me, I wasn't able to buy my car, for instance. Or a friend of mine who was creating a small company through the bank, he gets some money for evolving and get some productive assets for running his business. So we have to talk more about the opportunities that we create. That is the real proposal. We don't need to talk about the mortgages, the balance in our mortgages, or let's say we have 1 million mortgages and now we have 1.1 million. No, we have to say we were able to create or to fulfill the house for 100 families or 1,000 families, or we were able to participate in the creation of 100 small businesses, or we were able to lend money for people who need a solution for mobility, or I don't know, something more
Yeah,
that
I understand.
inspiring.
It's all about perspective, how you look at things. Let me go back to your childhood. Have you ever been afraid for your life?
Yes, when I was living there, I was afraid of being hurt.
Was it a constant feeling, or was it just like you can remember once or twice, or
No, it was a couple of times. Unfortunately, in that time when we were playing in a pitch or in a field, someone who was playing was a bad guy. The other bad guys come to shoot him, and they didn't care about the other people. They just want to take his life. So when that kind of thing happens, we have to run. And in that moment, you you run for your life, even though it wasn't your business, just because you were in that place. Or for instance, you are in a store and some people arrive to rob the store, and in that time they didn't care if they have to shot the gun, not just to make the other person be afraid to give the things, no, just to, if at the first time people didn't give the things that they were asking, they just shoot. So it was a violent place. So as I said, we were playing either soccer or children games, but living around that environment with those bad guys sometimes make you feel afraid of losing your life.
Have you lost any relatives or any friends?
Yeah, many friends in my childhood or in my younghood,
Yeah,
because I was like 14, 15. Some of them were, just like testing that kind of life. And in the beginning, unfortunately, the ones that the first time or the second time doing those kind of things were the ones that died. 2 years ago, a friend of mine passed away because of a cancer. And I wrote a letter in the ceremony, because it was like a wow. After 20 years, I haven't lost any friend. But in that time, it was so common that for the violence, a murder or whatever, it was a difficult time. But Medellin have changed a lot. In the last 25 years, we have another phase. Now, a lot of foreign people are coming to visit the city, the metro, even though they go to my old neighborhood it's called Comuna 13 in San Javier, and they talk about the story that we used to live. But in that time, unfortunately, it was so common that people solve the problems just with a gun. So when 2 years ago I lost my friend, I wrote in a letter that it was so strange that someone passed away, because I thought that after that violent moment in my life, I will lose my friends when we get old. No,
yeah,
still that we are young. I'm 43. I'm not too young, but I think, or I hope to live another 40 years. 30, 40 years. So I expect my relatives or my friends that are with the same age, we can we can drink a wine in 20, 30 years without any issue. So it was a difficult loss for me 2 years ago, I remember.
yeah. What was the lowest point in your life? What was the worst episode that you've experienced?
I mean, it was like something disappointing, because I know that many people was doing bad things, but I have going around with a couple of guys. I have a bike, a motorbike, and I used to take them to one place or other. Hey, Checho, take me to that part, and I don't have any problem, and I take them to one point or other. But I thought that they just, those guys that it was like, no angels, but no bad people. However, like few days later, after I take them to several places, I realized that they were, very bad guys. They were doing a lot of bad things, like, yeah, illegal things with drugs, and even they took trucks with the merchant side
Right.
inside. And I mean, it was like they call like pirates, like land pirates. First, it was so disappointed because I didn't know that, and the second that it was so risky for me, because if I don't know, I imagine if they were caught in that moment, I could get involved. So from that moment, I stay away from those people, even though I wanted to share with them, because they were my friend. And I was working in the bank later on. I wanted to buy a house in the old neighborhood because I wanted to show my friends and the families there that there are other ways of achieving things. And one was studying hard and, and working hard. Unfortunately, it was so violent in that moment, that specific neighborhood, and I couldn't buy it. And my friends told me that it wasn't a good idea because the new bad guys that they don't know me because I'm old and the new bad they were that I don't know racing, but that time they didn't know me and they could feel and buy I don't know bad feelings about me, and they could hurt me or even the house. So it was those two moments were so disappointed because I wanted to show a different way in that piece of the city. Another more personal, but it was later on, personal moment in my life. No as hard are the others. I was driving a car and I drank a couple of shots and I hit the car. It was soft, but I hit it. When I reached home, we have a chat with my family. My mom was so disappointed about me. Um, and I remember that she was yelling and my father had problem with alcohol, but he quit drinking 26 years ago. But he has serious problem with alcohol. And so I remember in that moment, my mom told me she was yelling and yelling and yelling at me. So disappointed because I was like the perfect guy, that good grades in high school, in the university, and I know that is something could be normal in the younghood, but for me it was so special because my father told me, Sergio, I ask God that you can learn from my own experience. You don't have to live every single episode that I live. Instead, you can look at me and understand the mistakes and learn from the mistakes that I made. So it was it was so powerful moment. I stopped drinking. I stopped drinking for about 5 years. I don't know what is get drunk. I mean, now I'm drink wine or a couple of beers and I like it. I really like it, or a whiskey, one or two, but I don't drink more than two because I don't like to be drunk. So I can say that worst, I don't know if that the worst, probably people will have more tragedies in their lives. I don't think my life is a tragedy, is something really, really beautiful. I have learned a lot from the others, the bad guys, the good guys in my neighborhood, my father, the love in my family, the love for studying. And I thank God for my energy because I always have energy for working, for reading, for doing exercise, for staying with my family, with my friends, and that's the thing that I always ask to have the energy.
I think after the your childhood in Comuna 13, is it 13?
Yes, it's perfect.
It's hard to find another low point in your life because everything after that, I suppose, it was way better. So yeah, I can definitely understand that. Now let's talk about something positive that happened in your life. Do you have a book, a person, or an event that changed your life, or change your life for the better, or maybe change your perspective, or maybe made you realize you can achieve things in a different way, or I don't know, something like that?
Look, I have several persons in my life, some professors that I admire. I think teaching is something very, very special. You have the gift to provocate, you have the gift to inspire, you have the gift to touch people. So I have a couple of teachers who give that perspective to believe in me, to give me confidence because I was quiet. I wasn't the guy who I am right now. I mean, I think the essence is the same, but like everybody, I'm changing. As I said, my father in that specific moment taught me in a special way. A couple of teachers, professors who have helped me through my education and give me confidence. Some bosses that give me confidence as well. I used to read a lot of books. I usually read Jeff Bezos, Andre Agassi, Walter Isaacson, talking about innovation and trying to control my mind, like Carol Dweck in Mindset, for instance, or I don't know. I don't have any specific book right now, but I think with everything you read, you have the ability to take something power for you, even when it's literature. Not only biographies or inspiration books. I read the trilogy about the in Spanish is el cementerio de los libros olvidados, and it's something very special for me because there are some characters in that book from Carlos Ruiz Zafón who really made me think about different things in life. So if you ask me about reading, I think you can't stop reading from Herman Hesse or William Shakespeare through the more updated like Carlos Ruiz Zafón, who is I really like it, or even the poems or Jorge Luis Borges, who is also interesting guy. I like reading. In my table desk, you will always find a book. Now I'm reading, for instance, Nassim Taleb. He wrote a book, Black Swan, about something that is a black swan is something that is very difficult to happen, but it happens. And I'm reading a book now from him in Spanish is Existe la suerte, which means in English is like does the luck exist?
Yeah,
And it's about what we were talking about at the beginning. Is like if you don't have a single luck, it's difficult. You need some kind of luck to achieve everything, but you have to be prepared.
you're right. It's so true. Definitely. It's not just hard work, it's not just luck, it's a combination of those two, I suppose.
Exactly.
Right. So, do you have a favorite quote or something like an idea or ideology you based your life on?
I always think that the best is coming. I mean, I'm not the type of person who is happy with. I think always there is more afterwards. That is something that I always believe, and I think that I mean, like the personal living is respect each other. I'm never going to do something that is going to hurt anybody. Everything that I can do it, whereas I don't affect others. Treat others the way you want to be treated. I mean, it's simple, but it's the most powerful thing in life. I want to be treated good. I want to be treated nice. So that's the way I treat all people I met. I don't find another way. I wish the best for everybody. And I think when you have that kind of feelings, the world moves and, bringing back all your wishes. But if you wish bad things to others, for sure, somehow either the destiny or the world or whatever going to treat you bad. So summarizing the question, I think treat others the way you want to be treated. And that's simple but powerful.
Yeah, it's true. That's great. So, what are your plans for the future? What would you like to achieve?
In 10 years maximum, I will be in the university or high school or in the academy. I want to teach, I want to share my experience. I have a good life, I have a big house, nice car, and a good salary or good wage. But this is something that I know that you can have this, but also I can have the life that I have in San Javier. What really matters is what is inside my heart with my friends, the way of sharing with people. What I'm trying to say is that I know that being teacher, I'm not going to have the salary that I have right now, but I will be really happy. I usually help others through foundations or by my own because I think you have to give back the society if the society has given a lot of things to you. And I think one of the best way is sharing the things that you have learned in the academy world, preparing students. And I know that probably in 10 years, the way of teaching will be different, but you always have a manner to share what you have learned, the experience, the same way that my father told me in that day that I hit the car. I taught a couple of classes several years ago, and I really enjoy. So that's why I know that in 10 years maximum, I will be teaching and running around the classrooms and talking with the students, and I will be very, very happy.
That's great. That's a great plan. Yeah, I think we covered everything.
Sorry about the English, even though I have to read a lot of documents in English and some of my books are in English, but I don't speak as we used to speak in when we were in UK.
Yeah, if you
So
don't practice it, you lose it. Yeah. Thank you, Sergio, for talking to us tonight. It was a pleasure having you, and I wish you all the best. And hopefully see you in person.
yeah, you are more than welcome here in America. As I said, Panama, Colombia, both are my homes right now. So you are more than welcome. Or if I'm traveling to UK or Europe, I will let you know for sure because it will be a pleasure to see you again. Greetings to your family, Andy.
Same here. Okay, take care, Sergio. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you guys for listening. This was another amazing interview. See you next time. Bye.